Hi friends, today we're going to be talking about mistakes beginner sports photographers make. The mistakes I'm going to talk about in this video are mistakes that I made when I was first starting, and there's things that I still make today. Because I know this is hard to believe, but I am not perfect. Disclaimer, I'm not a professional sports photographer. I got a comment on one of my other videos that was like, who even is this chick? Does she even have any awards?
Why do we want to listen to her?
So rude. And actually, I do have an award, the Friendship Award. I got that my junior year of high school, so I'm not a pro, but I have made a good amount of money on sports photography. I've made a lot of great connections through it, and I've also worked with my girl Stewie, WNBA star. Enough talking, let's get into this video. First mistake is wrong cropping. One of the things I see a lot is people cutting off limbs. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong with my cropping until someone pointed it out to me. So here I am pointing it out to you. Ideally, you want to see the athlete's like whole body, and you don't want to like chop off at like their knee or like at their arm. There are ways that you can crop, like you can zoom in and crop. Just try not to do it like on a bend. This also includes chopping off the ball as well as the net. Here's some examples of this. Cropping out the ball kind of just loses context, and I'd say the same thing about cropping out the net because they kind of just look like they're floating around, which isn't terrible. Like I still think these are good photos. I was trying to prove this point and I cropped this photo, but I kind of like it without the net in it, so. Another mistake within this mistake, I don't know how to word that, is not centering your subject. This also includes not straightening your photo, center your subject, or follow the rule of thirds. I just don't want to see your subject like off center a little bit crooked. Most of the time when I see people not centering their subjects, it's because they're just not editing at all. So my advice to you is just to like try it out, see how it goes. You can use your iPhone or phone, probably, other phones, probably, I think, and use the cropping tool on there. Like you don't even need Lightroom for it. When you're not spending the time on cropping, it makes you look a little less professional, and I want the best for you, okay? So just be intentional with your cropping. Just look at it. You can also do this in camera. Sometimes it's hard in camera. Just please try and crop better, please. Now let's review. Avoid cropping off the action/body parts. Keep the ball in frame. Crop intentionally, center or follow the rule of thirds. Here's some examples of full body and centered and the rule of thirds. One of the biggest mistakes I see is not understanding shutter speed. And this one I totally get. I totally get all of them. Honestly, I'm on your side, okay? The only reason I'm making this video is to help you. Now that we have that established, let's talk about shutter speed. If you're ever thinking when you look at your photos, why is it blurry? Oh no, it's because your shutter speed's wrong. If you're like, I don't know what shutter speed is, it's probably because you're using auto. And you should use manual. What's manual? I don't know, look it up. Shutter speed is like how fast your shutter opens and how much light is left and whatever. For the most part, all you need to know is that a higher shutter speed is better for sports photography because a high shutter speed will freeze action. Good sports photography really gets sharp, crisp images. It freezes the motion, it freezes everything. Sometimes it's clearer than your own eyesight, which isn't that hard for some people. Here are some examples of photos that I could not have taken if I didn't have a high shutter speed. When people mess up shutter speed, it's usually because it's a really dark place they're shooting at and their camera can't keep up, or they're using auto mode. I'm gonna be so honest, I don't even really know about auto mode because I've learned with manual mode. I just know a lot of people talk trash about auto mode, so I was just kind of joining in. But I will apologize for that because I was being a follower, not a leader, and that's not who I am. The main thing that helped me fix this issue was getting a low aperture lens, aka spending money. I'm sorry, I feel like this is not accessible. God, terrible person. I didn't really know what aperture meant when I was first starting, but as soon as I did learn what it meant, my photos transformed, they took off, it was amazing. Here's a before, and here's an after. You know what I'm saying? Gear does matter. Having not the best camera does limit you in sports photography, which I know is not the news you needed to hear. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try at all with what you have. It's just telling you that sometimes it's not your fault. If you can't afford to buy a new low aperture lens, here's some advice maybe. Shoot during warm-ups when they're not really moving so you can still get like good static photos. Try to figure out how to do that like blur motion stuff. I'll insert a picture. I don't know how to explain it. I don't do that very often. And the next one is to just shoot during the day. And I know that's kind of hard, especially if it's an indoor sport, but there's only so much you can do. I'm sorry. I love you though. The next mistake is not getting enough faces/facial expression. I still make this mistake and I'm finally like starting not to. I don't understand why I kept so many pictures that had no face in it. Like there's no purpose of it. If I'm like blocking my face, like if I took a picture of someone shooting a basketball and you can't see their face, like why would they want that picture? When I say this, I'm not talking about like getting jersey pictures or like pictures of them from behind. I'm talking about like literally there's something like blocking their face. A lot of people will tell you not to take pictures of the back of their jersey because it's boring. And I'm not saying that at all. I am so for those pictures because that's a lot of the times what the athletes want and what they'll post and share. Then you get more exposure because they're sharing your photos because they like the picture of their jersey. So I still am an advocate for jersey pictures. When it starts to become a problem is when your entire gallery or album is only those types of pictures of them like from the side or like behind and you can't see their face. Then it's not my fave because it's not showing like any emotion, any storytelling. It's just not very interesting. Let's try something. Pay attention to how these pictures make you feel. Personally, I didn't really feel anything when I saw those pictures. Now let's do the same for these pictures. Wow, so cool, so amazing. That was awesome. Ways to fix this is by moving around the court or the field. If the team is on offense running at you, try and position yourself in a place like this is you. And this is me, I'm the athlete. So you are in front of me and I'm running towards you. Does that make sense? In basketball, I shoot a lot from the baseline, underneath the basket, that type of thing, because they're coming at me. Ooh. So if you're in a spot and every single time you take a picture, you don't see their face, move around, find a different angle. The next one is not adjusting your white balance. This one is a killer. It's awful. I see it happen all the time because people just don't know what white balance is. There's a bunch of different settings on your camera that you can like set it to. I don't know anything about cameras except for my camera. So when I was first starting, I would just click one of those settings and just keep it on that. When I got the Sony a7 IV, it does custom white balance. So I can point it at something white and then press the button and then it captures the white balance. Sometimes to fix this, people will just set their white balance to auto and I'm against that. I'm sorry. I really don't want to seem like I'm judging you like if you do that, but I'm actually very strongly against auto white balance because it just changes your photo so much and it makes it so hard when editing to try and keep a consistent look. And then you have to change the temperature and the tint every single time. And that's just so much more work that you don't need to be doing. And like I said, I care about you. So please. Please, don't fool.
In my apartment, I think someone heard me singing. It's so embarrassing.
Ways to fix this is just by setting your white balance before the game starts. The other way to fix this is by editing your photos. Two common places that I think are so hard for your white balance is hockey rinks. I photographed hockey one time. I should probably do it again so I can get better at it, but oh my God, the white balance was messed up so bad. And the next one is high school gyms. For college sports, it's a lot better, but like indoor sports, gyms, ugh, the worst. And the last mistake for this video is, the last mistake is, I keep forgetting. The last mistake is keeping too many photos. The last mistake is keeping too many photos. I see this happen a lot. I did this a lot, still do it a lot. You don't need to deliver 10,000 billion photos in every gallery you send out. Sometimes you have to cater your photos to your audience and think, would they like this? Would they post this? Is this a good picture of their face? Is their face in it? Do they want this picture? Does this photo have meaning? Make sure it's a good picture and you're proud of that picture that you're sending out. I see a lot of people post pictures or keep pictures in albums that just don't have any meaning. As I've gotten more into sports photography, I've been more selective with which photos I keep and which photos I send out. Before, I was like, everybody needs 20 pictures of themselves. It doesn't matter what they're doing. Like, just having a picture of themselves is better than nothing. If there's two pictures that you're deciding between and they're like literally the exact same thing, you need to pick one. Don't put them both in the album. It's repetitive and you just gotta make a decision. Basically, just be more decisive with your culling process, and that's something I actually talked about in my last video. So why don't you go check it out if you haven't already? I think that's a great idea, don't you think? Don't you think? That's pretty much it for this video. I think I want to do a part 2 of this, so let me know in the comments down below if that's something you'd be interested in, or if you have any examples of mistakes that beginners make. My sports photography videos are doing pretty well on my channel, and I'm so thankful for that, so thank you to everyone who's watching. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but I have been doing this for a couple years, and I've learned a lot, and if you can learn just like one thing from me, that'd be like totes amazing. Okay, I'm gonna go now, and I'll see you in the next one.